welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Bookmas Day 7. Today is going to be a very exciting video. We are going to be reading a holiday book in 48 hours. I have a holiday shirt on. I have a Snoopy putting up the Christmas tree with is it a yellow birdie? I'm not sure what the yellow birdie is called, but yep, they're putting up the Christmas tree together. It's very cute. We are going to make this video slightly festive than my other videos. We have a holiday shirt on and we are going to be reading a holiday book in 48 hours. So we will be reading Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. I have been thinking about this book since the beginning of December. While reading Sunrise on the Reaping, all I could think about was reading Good Spirits. So I'm glad I didn't read too much of Sunrise on the Reaping because it took me a while to get back into that world when all I've been thinking about is Good Spirits. So come along with me and let's read Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. Let's go read Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. So let's read the back of the book first. So he's the ghost of Christmas past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas past Nolan Callahan intends to spend this holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his other aimless existence as a ghost, awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Cute! Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. But as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together, and realize there might be more to moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's past? Or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging in their unexpected, spirited connection? Exciting. So if I understood that correctly, Harriet and Nolan have a connection in the past, something that happened in the past that kind of, do they know each other? So let's get to reading, and yeah, I'm excited. Checking in. It is around 9:15. I do have to get back to work, but I wanted to check in really quickly to give my thoughts so far on this book. So I am 50 pages into Good Spirits, and so far I am really enjoying it. So I kind of went in with a bit of high expectations because all the creators that I do watch that has read this book either gave it a 4-star or a 5-star. So all I've been seeing are great reviews, but knowing that I prefer watching holiday romance movies as opposed to reading them, I didn't want to give myself so much, I guess, expectations. I would say the pacing of this book is quite good. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, it's a steady pace, I would say. Within this 370-page book, I'm at the 50-page mark and we are going into Harriet's memories. Actually, we just arrived into one of her memories. So I don't even know what the memory is. We just went through this kind of whirlwind of traveling into her memories. So the first 50 pages, we kind of get a sense of who Harriet is and who Nolan is, and we can see that he has flashes of his human past, which is quite interesting, but there's not much to say. It's mainly just color. And we actually get to see Nolan's world. We also get to see where he works as well. So it was such a magical experience, I would say. I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed reading his side of the story, his POV. This book is dual POV with Harriet and Nolan. So far, I enjoy reading both of their POVs, especially Nolan's. especially when he goes to his world, when he returns to his world. For some reason, I'm not too curious about what happened with Harriet and Nolan, but so far, steady pacing. The author's writing is easy to read. It's engaging, in my opinion, and the story is quite humorous and just lighthearted so far. So I'm excited to read more of this later. I'm going to actually interchange between reading the physical copy and listening to it through an audiobook when I am cooking meals so that I can get all the reading that I can. I'm gonna go back to work and I will check in with you all when I get to the 100-page mark. Good morning. It is 7 a.m. right now. It is the next day. It is Friday. And so I wanted to check in with you all on my reading updates. Yesterday night, I read a bit more, but I was so tired. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. I probably didn't sleep much. I read up to, I think, 100 pages yesterday. And then I went to sleep. I just couldn't do it anymore. And that was at around 9:30 and I just went to sleep. And I woke up at 5 a.m. today and could not get up for some reason. That's enough. I think that's enough hours to sleep. That's 7.5 hours, but I still couldn't get up. So I kind of snoozed until 6 a.m. So I was listening to Good Spirits on audio. And when I was not making my hot water in the morning or my very quick breakfast this morning, I would be picking up the physical book. I definitely read a lot faster than I listen. I listen at 1.5 times speed, and I think I read a bit faster because I tried reading while listening and I thought the audio was a bit too slow. So if my eye is red right now, don't mind it. I was nursing my eye because I had a sty. I just went on a tangent there. So let's talk about the main thing why we're here, which is the reading updates. I am on page 135, so I'm not at the halfway point just yet. Kind of nervous because it's already 7 o'clock. I'm not even at the halfway point. Yesterday, I was hoping to get to the halfway point so that I can just read the other half today. So we have a lot of reading to do today. We have seen some of Harriet's memories, I think two and a half, I would say, because in one of them, it was them coming back from the memory and they just kind of talked about it instead of us seeing the memory. Up until now, I think the pacing was quite steady. There wasn't any gripping moments, in my opinion. It was just like a light holiday read. It's what was expected. But now I'm at the part where things are starting to get interesting. I'm not saying it wasn't interesting before, but now it's where the real, I guess, mystery comes in. The mystery is unfolding now. So, or maybe not unfolding, but it's starting. Now I can see myself flipping through the pages. I have a little under 2 hours left before work starts, so I do want to get a big chunk in. I do want to get to at least page 200. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to stop yapping and start reading. So let's continue reading Good Spirits. Let's check in for a reading update. I will have to make this quick because I have to get back to work. Let's talk about Good Spirits. I am halfway through the book and I am on page 185. I just read the cutest thing ever and it's just so good. I really am enjoying every minute of it. I love the holiday vibes that we have in this book. While reading this, I was craving a peppermint mocha just because there were instances where peppermint mocha was brought up and just the fact that Harriet loves munching on candy canes. So it's just giving all that festive vibes. Every time the author mentions peppermint, I start to salivate and just want a peppermint mocha. So I don't know if I'm gonna go out today, but if I am, I'm thinking of getting a peppermint mocha because of this book. I love how festive this book is. I also love the fact that when we get to Nolan's magical realm, we have glimpses and just maybe quick cameos of other magical beings as well. So the poltergeist was mentioned, the Grim Reaper was mentioned. It's just such a magical world. I love reading the parts where Nolan goes into that magical realm. I think I'm gonna try reading the physical copy more so than listening to the audio, because I do know there's going to be an explicit scene in here. And I think if we do get to that point, I'd rather read it than listen to it, or maybe I might listen to it but kind of drown it out. So we'll see how I feel by then. But so far, I am enjoying this. I am enjoying the festive vibes, the holiday spirits in this book. So it's really getting me into the holiday mood. I'm going to get back to work and maybe check in with you all when I have a reading update. Reading update. So we are at the last 100-page mark to finishing this book. We are coming to our third act conflict. I'm pretty much hooked into this book. I kind of lost track in filming. I knew I wanted to check in with you all at the last 100-page mark because I know by then so much has happened. So we have seen our first act conflict, second act conflict, the third act conflict we are currently at. And of course, by this point, we know that our two main characters are pretty much in love with each other. Now, it gets really interesting because how is this book going to be wrapped up? do I have any ideas? I kind of have an idea of what's gonna happen in the end. I'll confirm here whether my assumption is true or not. But at the same time, I'm just really in it for the holiday vibes. And this is really giving that holiday vibes. It's making me feel all the festive mood. As you can see earlier in this video, we went to get a peppermint mocha because of this book. I haven't gotten a peppermint mocha in forever. And because of this book, I decided to go pick one up. But then again, when I had my peppermint mocha, it wasn't as good as I expected. Over the past years that I've been making my own drinks, going to big chained coffee shops don't really hit the same. That was kind of a tangent. Because of this book, it's really putting me into that holiday spirit, holiday vibes with the peppermint mocha. It is such a great read. I want to continue reading with my reading pace, 50 pages in an hour. So I will have about maybe giving myself some wiggle room. I think I can finish this in 2 hours or a little bit more than 2 hours. So it is currently just past 8 p.m. So I think I'll be finished by, let's say, 10:30 p.m. And I think that's the perfect time to finish this book. And I will check in to wrap up this video and give you my final thoughts on this book and just this whole video. So I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna go back to reading. I cannot wait to finish this book. It is so good. Not in the sense that I just want to finish this book, but in the sense that I want to know how it's going to end. So let's get back to reading. I will check in with you all when I finish this book. Good morning. It is Saturday morning and I finished Good Spirits by B.K. Borison late last night. I stayed up past 12 a.m. I think I finished at around 1:30. So I am really out of it right now, but it is currently 8 a.m. Let's talk about my final thoughts on Good Spirits. I know I said I was gonna finish this at 10:30 p.m. and then I would have some time to edit, but I do have quite a handful of hobbies that I enjoy doing, and one of them is dancing. So I, for some reason, had a spark of wanting to make choreo and learn certain choreo. So that delayed my reading and I finished it at 1 a.m. So let's get back on track. Let's talk about what my final thoughts are for Good Spirits. I enjoyed this book a lot. I am surprised that I enjoyed it so much. The only other holiday romance book I've read was In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. Maybe I need to give that one another shot again because at that time during that time, I was still in my dark romance era. So reading something that's kind of like a holiday, fluffy, rom-com-y romance was not for me at the time. Now that I read Good Spirits, I think what helps a lot for me to get into the story was The Ghost of Christmas Past. So I do love holiday movies that deal with Ghost of Christmas Past. So The Christmas Carol, I think I've watched that before, but I just never knew the title of the movie. That probably is the reason why I did really enjoy this book, and also the magical elements in it, the paranormal elements in it as well. I think that's what makes it a bit more unique than other holiday romances. Also, that's the only other holiday romance that I've ever read. In the Holidays was more like Groundhog Day. I don't know if I usually gravitate towards those type of movies, so maybe that's why. But I guess I wouldn't mind watching it, but when it comes to reading it, okay, actually, I'm gonna give it another shot. Maybe I'll reread In the Holidays sometime in 2026, in December or something like that. Let's get back to Good Spirits. I feel like I'm just going on a tangent everywhere. One thing I really like about this book, and I have mentioned it in previous clips, is that I love the magical paranormal elements in this. So where Nolan goes into the magical world or the paranormal world, and in that paranormal world, it's in a setting that's kind of like a corporate world. So it's kind of like an office setting, and it's quite interesting to read. While I was reading this book, I felt like I was watching it as like a movie. So I think that's always a good thing, because with books, if it's hard to follow and you can't really picture it, it just doesn't really help with the reading. I do love the festive elements in it, as I mentioned in my earlier clips. So near the end, how we resolved the true mystery of the whole book, how the story wrapped up, I'm not sure if there was a loophole, or maybe I missed it because it was 1:30 a.m. But I don't know if I liked how it wrapped up. I don't even know if it kind of, I don't know if it's a loophole, let's just say that. I couldn't really 100% follow along or get convinced that, oh yeah, that's a pretty satisfying ending, but I wouldn't really it didn't really dock too much of my rating on the book. What drove me to read this book was for the festive elements and the vibes, not really the romance. I was going in not really caring about the romance in the book or the pacing of how the romance blossomed throughout the story, so I didn't really dock any points on that as well in my rating on this book. Based on my assumption of the ending, one part of my assumption of the ending of the story was right, but I wasn't surprised, but how we got to the ending was definitely off. I was definitely off on that, but at the same time, how we got to the ending of the story, I'm not sure if I am satisfied with it. I gave this a 4.25 stars, which is pretty high, I would say. I know a lot of the book content creators rated this higher than a 4-star. Even I see a lot of 5 stars in this book. I went in knowing that, well, this is a holiday romance novel, and I'm not one that usually gravitates towards holiday romance novels, so a 4.25 stars is a very high rating for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and I'm so glad I purchased it because I can see myself reading this again. I was reading the acknowledgements. I used to not read acknowledgements. By the end of the acknowledgements, I literally audibly gasped because we are seeing a second book to this series. I think it's going to be an interconnected standalone. Maybe not interconnected. It might just be another part of the series. Actually, I think it might be an interconnected standalone series. So I checked on Goodreads, and the second book to Good Spirits, which is called, oh, I don't even know what it's called. I think it's Grim Tidings. That is coming out September 16, 2026. Well, I don't know if it's announced officially, but on Goodreads, it does say that. So I am so excited to see the second installment of this interconnected standalone series. That's what I'm assuming it's gonna be. And it's about the Grim Reaper. I really enjoyed reading the magical beings, so the other paranormal characters in this novel, even though it was just like a 1-second cameo. And in the second book, it's going to be the Grim Reaper. So I'm very excited for that. I do highly recommend this book. If you do like the Christmas Carol movie, if you like reading about the Ghost of Christmas Past, and just being in that holiday vibe. If you just want to be in that holiday mood and vibe, I would recommend Good Spirits, I would say. Just know that when you're going into this book, I would say in terms of the romance, it's nothing groundbreaking and heart-shattering or any of that. It is what this book is. It's a holiday paranormal romance. The holiday setting of this book, the author did a really good job on that. So if you want to pick up a holiday paranormal romance to get you in the holiday spirits this holiday season, I would highly recommend Good Spirits. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.25 stars. It even got me to get out of my house to grab a peppermint mocha. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this Bookmas installment. I had a great time reading a holiday romance novel within 48 hours, and I'm so glad I picked Good Spirits for that, because this helped with finishing this book within 48 hours. Just based on what I wanted from this book. I wanted to be in the holiday spirits, especially during the busy month of December when you're wrapping up work. So this really set the holiday mood for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!